Okay, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. Let's see what we got going on here. Let me tune into Dukascopy's chat area. See if anybody is visiting this morning to our neighborhood. Yes, I see a few people there. That's cool. Let's turn it on. And we start off with the Swiss. See how the Swissy are doing. Now you can see there, Swissy's still moving up on the J4X, but notice the white line, like I always say here, this is the most important thing out of it all, right here. This is going to be as very sensitive to as it is to our math. You see it right there. In this case here, we've already pierced. We're in a daily sell at the moment. It's dropped underneath, and this will start to change over the next couple hours at the same time. So that's how that's a reflection of the dollar. That's what that is. It's a reflection of how the dollar is going. Hey Jordan, how you doing? Welcome to our neighborhood. We're just kicking around, just seeing what's going on, just having some fun. Looking at the markets, when we have such a comfort level with the markets, it is kind of fun, and we like to, I can complain and I can discuss and I can say this and that and the other thing about markets. And it's just fun to look at different products, see what the math is telling us, and seeing how the reality of it. And we're one of the only probably technical analysts. Newsletter / whatever with a fact check spreadsheet for a decade now. For a long time we keep it up there on the left side, so you can see our mathematical predictions are documented, so you can actually follow along. Every so often we screw something up, put the wrong 1 or 2 in the wrong spot, but we clean it up and make sure it's right and so forth in the end. And you got the charts to look at to confirm it at the same time. There it is. No, let's see, right. No, not that one either. Yeah, I guess we can use that. Right there. Let's move that one down like so, move that over like so, and we go like, you can see we put the lines in, and it correlates with, in this case here, it's the Swiss. So we go to line 21, and you can see 3 weeks in a sell, and 7 days in a buy. And so it's been in a buy since that little green line right there, and it's been in a weekly sell since this spot right here. And then it fell down, and that was a safe trade as we consider it, on a hard delta, depending on how you trade, and or using binaries or options. And then and you get a buy signal here, so you don't want to be short, that's for sure. But we're in a weekly sell, so you don't want to you don't want to get long at the same time. So it tells us now we're running neutral. If you're using binaries or calls, you can get long on something like that, because you have a limited risk factor there. And then vice versa, it goes up and plays one of the lines we've been watching for, in this case here, those 2 red lines, dashed lines. We've been watching those for almost 2 years, or a year and a half at least. So I hope that was a good little explanation for you. And that's who we are. We're just hanging out, having some fun. This is the electronic trading pit. When the market gets active, we're active. When the market is slow, we find something to read. And that's how it rolls along here. I hope that was helpful. And then, let's see, what else are we? So then, what do we do next? We go to, we go over and we look at, say, something like, we take a look at the euro. We take a look and see what the euro looks like. See what that's doing. Just answering a text there. Let's see. Let's look at the euro. We'll go over to J4X, check out J4X, and what we do with J4X is that this is the Dukascopy platform, and we have a little tool that we've developed. It's a combination. It's called the stochastics, and it's a fast stochastics, which is the white line, versus a slow stochastics, which is the yellow dashed, and it correlates pretty well with our mathematics. And so it's a tool that you can use for free, through Dukascopy. And let's find it right there. That's EUR, right? Yeah, there it is. And you can see here, it's piercing up. And you can see our work had bottomed and is piercing up. And not only that, we're through the daily buy just like this is right here. And you're getting a green bar right there. You can see we've been playing with some green dots for the last couple of days. It kind of correlates with the Hinkiashi is a delayed process, but it's a good tool, simple tool. Let's say it's a simple tool to try to get a flavor on where things are going. And that's the whole key to the situation of trading, is to try to do smart things. And so that's where we're at. I hope I gave you and so that's basically a clear idea. Yeah, I'm answering a text again. And we're just trying to give you the flavor of what's going on, so you can get a good grip, a good idea of what we're talking about here. And you can ask any question. No question in trading is ever foolish or dumb or stupid, because you're dealing with money. So you want to have a better idea of what's going on there. Just the way it is. All we say is there's only long answers or short answers, but there are no dumb questions. All right. Let's see, what else do we got going on? I guess that's about it, right? I think we've explained who we are and what we do. And let's see if there's any more on the chat line. Nothing so far from Jordan. I think we've seen you here before, Jordan. All right, let's go over to the cable and see what the cable's up to at this point. Now notice the euro, which has been really lagging of, say, the last couple of months. It's not a leading pairs trade, more of a lagging one, has joined in with the Swiss, which is kind of like the leading one, and the cable's been the leading one. But look at the cable today. Cable today is kind of lackadaisical, not much really aggressiveness. The only thing you can say it's kind of interesting is after a couple of weeks in a buy and it went nowhere, and you can see we went into sells and then we went into a buy here for a day and then went back into the sells again, and you can see here the weekly's getting ready to ride back into the sell signal, which is kind of curious. Well, let's make it so you can see that. No, let's see. I can see it. Why can't you see it? Let me double check something here. Make sure it's working. I don't think it's working. I need to refresh. Let me refresh here the chat line.
Ready to start eating healthier?
Oh, Joy, eating healthier. That sounds good.
Kachava is the world's...
There we are. There it is. That's better.
Ready to start eating healthier?
There we go.
Eating healthier. That sounds good. Kachava is the world's...
There we go. We refreshed, and I see that that's updating now. Wow, I'm glad I do that. I chase after this stuff. So you can see here on the cable, it's flirting with that weekly sell there, which is kind of curious. Whereas let's see, what do we have here? We have, let's just go back and check out the other two again. So let's see, where is it? Let's use that mouse right there. So we're seeing the Swiss, trying to go into a weekly buy, which is kind of curious. So it means weakness really for the Swiss. At the same time, we're seeing the euro not even remotely close to flipping into the weekly buy, just a daily buy at the moment. Might be the classic dead cat bounce, which is it Aaron Schrodinger's birthday? I think it was yesterday. So the man who basically tried to warn about quantum mechanics, his birthday was yesterday, and he used an analogy of a dead cat and a live cat. So, meow, dead cat bounce. I was looking at DXY for an indication on the U.S. dollar. I did have a confirmed C on the daily. Oh, like an Elliott wave, and on the daily, originally Fibonacci, if the original is correct. You're speaking some good stuff, that's for sure. So the dollar index, I do have a ETF of that right here, and it slid into the daily sell yesterday. You can see that right there, where it had gone into the buy. Right, we don't usually follow this that closely, so it went into the buy there. We were in a weekly buy at that same time, and for the last 2 weeks, you see there and there it was in a weekly buy. That one and this one. And this is the third week, I guess, trying to get into staying in the weekly buy. Or no, this is the second full week of weekly buy. Is that it, right? It's on line, what is that? The line 25. 1 week in a weekly buy and 1 day in a daily sell. That's where it is. See it there? Let me just highlight it for you. So we can talk about the Fibonacci. We can look at the ABCs. We can do all that. I like that stuff. I've been doing that for a long time, and there it is right there. That's the ETF, the weekly, 1 week in a buy, and then 1 week and 1 day in a sell. So we can take a look at that. We can take a look at some of the Fibonacci. You want to look at the actual DX? I think it's a DX, the dollar index that's traded on the exchanges, on the futures exchange. We can go hunt that down, see if we can find that. You know, we could do that if you want. But overall, being late July and now we're into early or mid-August, markets are really slow this time of the year. So an ABC in this particular period, like over these 3 or 4 weeks, are really sloppy. You know, they're not very accurate. The Fibonacci, on the other hand, is always way more accurate than anything. Than most other stuff. I mean, obviously my math is ahead of the Fibonacci math, but Fibonacci math is very good. You know, it's pretty accurate, and in the era of quantitative easing, Fibonacci has become even more accurate than I've ever seen it when it comes to supports and resistances. So combining together the like the Elliott wave, the C wave, A confirmed and then a C. You say you had an A confirmed and I guess you saw a B, maybe, and then a C on the daily original. You know, so you're combining that with the Fibonacci. That's a very good thing. And I tell stories here also that not many people know it, but R.N. Elliott, who created the Elliott wave system, and W.D. Gann, who I guess you could say introduced Fibonacci to the financial markets, especially the commodities markets, at one time were partners with a fellow named Jones, who was the very first known hedge fund. And so the three of them together had offices at Midtown, like around 45th Street or 44th Street, something like that, and they were like literally doors away from each other doing finance when everybody else was downtown. You know, they were down in, it was like, I think it was like 44th and Park Avenue or 40, no, I guess it would have been like, not, I don't think, it wasn't Lexington. It was the other one, where the Madison Avenue. I think they were down there. And so they were all together at one time, working together. Yeah. You're still going through the 101 course trying to make sure the original is correct. Let's see, try this again. Let's see, yeah, still going through the 101 course trying to make sure the original is correct. Yeah, I hear you. In trading, what happens is that you go back and forth and you're practicing. Back and forth. We all do it. I do it. I've been trading for over 40 years. I still do it. You know, you go back and forth, you go back and forth. You're constantly, you know, kicking the tires in a sense. We refer to that in the States here as when you're buying an automobile, you kick the tires just to make sure that they're not going to deflate, you know. So, you know, they don't have like a piece of tape on them hidden somewhere. But it's an old expression from the 1920s and 30s, I think it is, or 1940s. And so, no, we all do that. Yeah, still going through the 101 type of thing. I do it through the course 101 on stuff a lot. You know, I still look at the basics. Look at the basics and then try to divert from the basics to what I've discovered and what I've seen and learned, and then go back and forth still. You never know. That's why I always say in the webinar, you're welcome. Like, in other words, we've just looked at 3 products. We looked at the Swiss, we looked at the Euro, and we looked at the cable. Okay? At the same time, I have no problem if in 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes someone wants to look at them again. I go right back to them again. Because that's that basic thing, going back to the original of where you were. You never know what you're going to discover a second time looking at a chart, or a third time looking at a chart, or 30th time looking at a chart, or the 50th time looking at a chart. You never know what you might pick up that you hadn't picked up before. So I'm right there with you, Jordan. I hear you. All right. From there, like I said, if you want to go through the index, I can go to see if I can find a copy of it. But I'm more happy to always look at the individual pairs trades myself. I really try to. I tried to always do my webinar like I'm Eurocentric. I always call it. Like I'm not living in the United States. I'm trying to look at the markets like as if I'm looking from a non-American point of view. Because I can give you the American point of view all day long. That's something you don't really need. You need the accurate point of view. And to me, I try to, basically give you that general non-American point of view, but always my mathematical point of view. In other words, I use my math. Then we look at the J4X, and we see how the J4X is correlating to our math, and I try to emphasize that every so often for traders who are using other indicators besides mine. And so, it's no problem. I love doing it. I think it's like a test, It's like a trial by, what do they call it? Baptism by fire, And having a fact check spreadsheet up on the machine on the broadcast every day, it sure doesn't hide anything, that's for sure. Also, long on gold confirmed, see, on the daily. Oh, did you see that? They're both, last I saw them like an hour and a half ago, they were both showing some real buying strength. Yeah, there's the gold. Yeah, see, I even have a green line for the clients that got my charts in the mail. Look at that. We're playing around with a daily buy. It's jumped through the 0 line. Now let's do this. Let's go over to J4X. I bet the white line is piercing the daily gold. Let's see, right? Where's that? Right there it is. And then while we're doing that, I'm going to jump over to silver because I saw silver doing the same exact thing. Silver did the same thing too. You can see that right there on the daily. And there you go. You can see it. You can see it here. It's battling with the upside just like ours is. Matter of fact, it seemed to have jumped into it even yesterday, which is kind of curious. Look at that. The Hinky Ashies jumped into it yesterday. Whereas you can see on our work, we were in there, I think, 1 day ago or 2 days back, and then it rolled over again, and now you can see it closed yesterday in the futures contract at what is that? That's silver. So it closed at 23.11, and down from the day before. And then this is the Dukascopy, probably reflecting a little bit more up to date in some ways, differently. I'm live too, but it's different in the sense of the metals complex. Then going over to gold, you see yesterday what happened was our histogram couldn't get into the buy, but we had a green dot. We've had green dots for 3 days, and the red and green emphasized volatility coming. And so you can see here it finally lifted right there today. But it's been battling for the last couple of days, some strength in there on the gold, just like you see there on Dukascopy. See, that's how we try to correlate it together. That's interesting. And then let's take a look at silver on Dukascopy. And there's silver, and you can see that has not rolled yet, but you can see the lines have. I always say this is the most important indicator that I've developed on a public platform right there. the two different stochastics, no doubt about it. The Hinky actually is a lagging indicator, but you can see there the silver is no, it's not silver. Let's put silver in there. Oh no, what did I do? What was that? I've done something wrong. I changed the way it's read, I think. Let's see, what is that? Format G7. Let's see what I did to that poor thing. Trades, daily. I'm not sure what I done wrong there. Trade volume? I don't know what I did. I must have changed the style. Let's see what I do. Oh, I did. It's called a keggy line. And so then we go back to settings. And we go, I accidentally turned it into a keggy, whatever a keggy is. Back to regular again. There it is. Let's see, so let's check out silver now on J4X. Right? Yeah, there it is, right there. So yes, and so I need to go to silver here, that's what it is. Somehow or another put a keggy in there, whatever a keggy is. Is it like a keg of beer, maybe? I don't know. Where is the Silverado? There it is, right there. And so silver, trying to get into the buy, and it was very close yesterday. You did that thing there, as we just talked about. And weeklies are both off, so we're not exactly too excited yet. Let's see. Jordan says, positive correlation, question mark, between gold and silver. Well, they both move usually in the same direction. You know, I want to say that. You know, they kind of, with the quantitative easing, it seems like they play each other off consistently. So in other words, they seem to be buying gold and then selling silver, or buying silver and selling gold. We see things like that, especially after quantitative easing. You know, before quantitative easing in 2008, they were so much more correlated together. They were definitely a much easier pairs trade if you were doing the ratio or something like that. But nowadays, you know, for the last 12 years, 13 years, it's been very tough. The correlation is much sloppier, goes a lot of different directions. You can see on our fact check spreadsheet, let's just try that right there. Silver is line, what line is that? That's line 8, is it? No, 9. So 9, it's 13 weeks in a sell, 7 days in a sell. Okay? Gold is 9 weeks in a sell and 7 days in a sell. Sometimes there are one's in a buy, the other one's in a sell. So the correlation is really sloppy since quantitative easing. I hope that helps out. All right. Let's see now. So from there, you know, we can take a look at, would you like to look at another metal? We can look at copper, we can look at platinum, or we can scoot back into the currencies. Up to you. You're interested in talking markets. I'm interested in talking markets. We're both talking markets. I like talking markets. So it's no problem there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the Turkish lira real quick and see if you know, if you come up with anything you want to ask or talk about or tell, and then we'll go from there. Let's go back to the currencies, and there it is right there. Let's go to the Turkish lira, dollar Turkish lira to start off with, which is trying to close into a sell today. You see that? You see the weekly is still flirting with the weekly buy. We'll see how that plays out, but I kind of doubt it'll do anything too positive. Now, what we do is we go over and we look at, well, let's take a look at it on J4X to start off with. Let's see, right there, dollar Turkish lira. And you can see we're waiting to see what the stochastic says to it. And as you can see there, it's still moving down, just like our work, same game. Whoop. Been moving down, broke the time manifolds. It's now through the minus side, like this is through the minus side. And so that's what that's all about. This zero line, we refer to the dashed line as the three-dimensional zero line. Now we jump over to the Euro Turkish lira, which seems to be way more accurate in predicting action. And so you can see here, this thing's been in a weekly sell since like up in here. And even with this bounce right here, we went into the buy right there. Let's put that in. We went into the daily buy right there. And it went up, but we're in a weekly sell, so it's not something you really want to play long unless you're doing the binaries. And then it goes into the sell, I guess it was right here. Whereas on the dollar pairs trade, it's just doing it today. Oop, let's move that down, since it's a confirm. When it's the beginning of the day, it's trying to go into a sell, we put it up top. When it's already confirmed, we put it in the middle there, on the daily bar itself. And so you can see right there, the daily quant, that is. And so this is a daily quant, and the bottom one is a weekly quant. Matter of fact, maybe what I should do is put those in there. So there is a copy. And go like that. And put it in there. There we go. There we go. So that's the weekly quant, and this is the daily quant right here. That's why you see the spreadsheet has WB, which is the weekly quant, and WS, the weekly sell, and then the other line, that's A, and it's B and C, and then E and F is the day buy or day sell. There we are. Let's make it black too. Not say day. There we are. Black. There we are. It's much clearer. Whatever that is, that's cool. And so that's where we are. All right. So we're just kind of, experimenting along here. So you can see here the Turkish lira jumped into that daily sell right there and has rolled down for the last 2 days. And it's been in a weekly sell, so that's an easy trade right there. Whereas on the dollar one, you've got the Turkish lira dollar pairs trade trying to go into it went into a sell yesterday. There it is right there. But yeah, that's a little bit easier for today. That's what it is. But it's only 1 day compared to going on. This is a second day, and the euro is like a day ahead of that. It's like that's what I was saying basically. There's probably a correlation to the jump ahead sometimes, just because of the hour difference in trading and so forth. All right. Now, what do we do from here? I need to keep that sell in there, I guess. Let's put that in there again. And there's the sell. And that's on the fact check spreadsheet at the same time. That's line 17. 4 weeks in a sell, line 17. 1 day in a sell. This is the second day now. And what we do is we wait to see if they confirm being in a sell by not going into the buy. That's usually the way it works. So that is what it is. There we go. Seems good. Life's good. Everything's working. All right. I hope that answered any of the questions or so forth and so on. And that's the look at the Turkish lira and the euro lira, which are both pretty important as far as I can tell. That is the way it rolls. All right, now let's jump back over to, where do we jump back over to? We jump back over to the, from the Turkish lira we go to the Canadian. That's what we do, we go to the Canadian versus the dollar. So we'll jump over to that. Let's see, right there, let's put it in. There's the Canadian, which was really curious. It went into the daily sell 2 days ago. The weekly is still in a weekly buy, so we didn't really trust it to be much more than just kind of sideways sloppy. Maybe a quick knockdown, that type of thing. I'm not sure why the lines don't stay in there, but sometimes we lose the lines. Right there, we have to put them back in again. But you can see it up on the fact check spreadsheet. That's line 20 right there. 9 weeks in a buy, 2 days in a sell. And then you can see what happens when let's see what we do here. Use this mouse. So the way it works is that when the white line and the histogram are minus, it pushes it into a sell. When they're a plus, it's in a buy. Plus goes into buy. Next day goes into a sell. See, usually plus, buy. Goes into sell right here, so forth. Plus, buy. Sell right there, plus, buy. Plus way back here and buy. And you can see it's above the line. We can try to emphasize it a little bit more like that. See? The black histogram and the white line are above this zero line. Ta-da! And so that's the action we are looking at, and this is what we're trying to, we try to correlate other indicators to see if anybody's any better, but no one is. But, we try to always look. We're just back to 101 when it comes to technical analysis. Always looking to see if we can find something that's, better or helpful or, giving insight on some level, that type of thing. I mean, that's the way it rolls there. All right, let's go back over to here. All right, let's see, what are we going to look at here? We're going to jump over to, let's see, we've done Canadian. So now what we do is we take from the Canadian, what we usually do is we look at crude oil and we look at the metals complex. And we've already looked at the metals, but let's go do a quick look on that, both of those sectors again, because they seem to be a good correlation to the currency, the Canadian in particular. All right. Let's see, where do we go? Okay, let me do that. So now we're going to throw crude oil up there. There it is. There's your silver. Now we're going to look at crude oil right there. Now crude went into a buy a couple days ago, but it hasn't really gone anywhere, and it's flirting with the weekly buy, as you can see right here. It fell into a weekly sell last week, and it was a nice winner chicken dinner for a day, a great day. It was like $2 down the next day, which is really cool. But then it started to perk its head up, gave us a volatility signal, and you can see it's right back to where we went into the sell. And this started the whole week right off in the weekly buy. I mean, it was like above the numbers right off. Wasn't confirmed because we like it to close by the end of the week, but there's no doubt that we pay attention to it. We take it serious, and so that's where we've been when it comes to that product in particular. All right, now we'll go back and look at gold again too. Right there, and it's still acting pretty firm in here. I wonder how much it's up for the day. Let's see. So we're looking at, it closed yesterday. It's at 1751.8. Right now, as we speak, it's at 1766.3, or now 2. So 3 again, 4 now, 5. 3, 2, 1. It's bouncing around in there. 0, 1. So what did I say? 58. Yeah, 51. So it's up like $15, $14. There's some good action there. You can see the weekly is trying to move. This is live, so you're seeing, real adjustments going on through our math. You go right here, and you can see like plot 1. It's 1.84. Now it's 1.86. Now it's 1.84. Now it's 1.82. See plot 1, 1.84, 1.86. As it's rising, and now 1.80, 1.78. It's trying to break down a little bit in price. Now see it's trading at 1765. You know, it's how it's going. It's trading at 65.30. See, our math is turning down to 1.74 on the plot one. So it's showing weakness, and you can see the product itself has fallen from 66.20 to 65.30 as we speak, now 50. And you can see, you know, 1.74, and if it goes to like 168, there's 166, 168, and now the product is trading at 175, I'm sorry, 17.53 even. So it's dropped $1.50 almost since we started watching this the last minute and a half or 2 minutes. And that's how it works. And we can take a look at something a little bit hotter in a stock indice. You can see the S&P 500 up 4. Let's emphasize one of these products wide. This is a intraday tick chart using our same math, it going through the zero line. You can see here, you know, it's doing the buy. You know, it's went into the buy here. Let's widen this out for you to see better. And so it works on a daily level, it works on a weekly level, it works on a monthly level, yearly level, so forth and so on. The math. 10-second level, you know, 1 hour level, you know, whatever. And you can see here it goes into the buy here. You can see we have upwardly strength. It weakens, you know, it tries to do its weakening thing. You see it backing off. Let's widen it out more so you can even see it even closer. You can see here, does it go to minus? I think it does. So it goes into the minus with that red dot, plot 1. And then the next bar, it goes back into the plus. And we get, you know, no dot right there. Tells you to be long again, and sure enough, it's going up. Just like when it went into the sell right here, and it goes down. You get your, remember traders, products don't go in one direction. They kind of saber-tooth their way in a direction. They chop back and forth, and this is a good example of it live in just a 369 contract bar chart. You can see it ticking away live. See if we can widen this more, just to give you that flavor. And you can see it there. And when this thing goes minus, more than likely the thing will find a way to start to go down in value. And we watch everything through a daily and weekly on Dukascopy. So in this case here with the gold, now gold's at 64. And let's just see where it is on the plot 1 at this point. Plot 1 is down to 160 now. 58, 158, 156, 158. You know, so just shows you how the math is kind of doing its dance, and the weekly does the same thing. It's live also. And plot 1 there is minus 39, minus 38, minus 39, you know, back and forth. And that's minus 0.38. We measure almost, I designed this math for measuring the Higgs boson and so forth back in the 70s. So it's very sensitive. So it's reading things in incredibly small increments. All right, just a little explanation there. A little explanation there. All right, anybody want to see anything in particular, just shoot it out. Just say, hey, I'd like to look at this, or I'd like to look at that. Doesn't matter what it is. We'll see if we can chase it down and find it for you. See our math, look at it, see how it looks, compare it to what's going on Dukascopy. You know, the whole bit. You know, we're very, what's the word to describe it as? We are very trader-centric, you know? We are what we are. Sounds like Popeye the Sailor Man. I am what I am. All right, let's see now. So from Canadian, we go over to the metals and we go over to the oil, and we've seen what's going on there. Now what we do is we slide back, because of the metals side of that, we go and we take a look at the South African rand. Right, where are you? You're here somewhere, I know. You're just always an inch away, and I seem to always be hunting for it. Then I see it and I go, oh yeah, that's where it's at every day. There it is. And there is the ZAR. As you can see here, it's still in a buy, so it's going up in value. You can see it went down, went up, but it's still in a bullish mood, which is kind of odd because gold has been going up, and normally it goes down with gold going down, and it has been doing that of late, now that I say that out loud. But at this point in time, oh, how about corn? Sure, we can take a look at corn, Rob. So at this point in time, we see here, you know, it's moving up because gold is moving down at the moment. That's the way it's supposed to work. And let's check out corn. There's Hoggies. There's deck corn. Looks like it's towards the high of the morning so far. It's been a daily buy for back in, what was that? July 30th. In a daily buy. It's been in a weekly buy since back the middle of July. And went into a daily sell instantly. And stayed in there. Because this is what we refer to as a gas line 3.5 super. It has two different gas lines, a 3 and a 5 in it. And it's because of the beta of the product itself. It kind of connotes that we need to smooth out the signal. And so it went into the sell here. So you really don't take it, you just don't get long, and that's all, unless you're doing the options or binary. Binaries are cool because I like to do option binaries, so I love binaries. And so then you go into the buy here. Now you can be long from the 550-ish area, basically. What's that? It closed at 545 area, okay? And because we're in a weekly buy and a daily buy, and then you get some instant gratification where it ends up closing about 15 cents higher the next day, and then you get more push. Remember, things go zigzaggy. And it stays in a buy all the way out to, I know you look at here and you go, well, what about that histogram? Yeah, but look at the green line, it's still plus. They have to be together on a super. So in other words, when both of them went into a minus there, it was the sell signal. In this case, they're in a buy, and it flirts with it there a little bit, and then, you know, it's been in a buy since there, and it's still in a buy now. And you can see the weekly is ripping on the upside there. How's that, Robin? Good? Let's see, corn moved above the trading range it had been stuck in. Yeah, I guess it has, hasn't it? What's it been, for a whole month, I guess? I guess we could draw the lines, like there, and there, I guess it is. Right? So now it's climbing back up. It was up there before too. You can see how it climbed on it right there, fell apart, climbed on it there, ran up higher, then failed. You can see the confusion of the market. It goes into a weekly buy, then it goes into a sell the next week, goes into a buy, then a sell, then a buy, and then it holds on for a while. Just like when it went into a buy way back here in, what was that, 8 is what, August 2020? So it was in a buy for how long? August to, no, it's not there, that's for sure. No sell there, no buy there. Buy for a long time. Wow. It's a long while. Interesting. I forgot all about that. Yeah, that's right. Our math caught a lot of the markets. I always kind of forget. You know, I just kind of keep on marching along. S&P. S&P is right there. Where is it at? Right there. There's the S&P. And it's been in a weekly buy since back in here. What's that? Back in, what's 6 months? May? June. So June 25th, it's been in a confirmed itself in June, late June. So it's been in a buy since the 4,300 area. Played up to 4,400, then fell back down. We caught, you know, it gave us a warning that it was, you know, don't be long here. And then it jumped back into the buy again. You could be long again here. Now it's kind of jumped into the buy yesterday and it's showing strength today. Yeah, that's the SPOOs. They're holding on pretty well. Yeah, well, I saw, you know, I wanted to say something about this today too, and I kind of got, Jordan took me into a good direction. any trader that jumps on usually takes me in a good direction, because anybody that wants to talk about specifics, I love it. So, but there's really serious talk that tapering is going to happen sooner than later. Now, it's not true tapering. That's what I wanted to talk about. What it is, it's mild tapering. What's going to happen, instead of 120 or 140 billion a month that they're investing, they're going to be like doing like 100 billion. Then they'll be like 90 billion. But they're still investing. They're still putting money in, not taking it out. So even taper is not going to be like, oh God, they're pulling the punch bowl away. It's not going to work that way. They're just going to taper less and less and less and less. You know, and I don't know when it's going to come down to the point where they stop buying bonds, you know. Who knows? They may be buying bonds for decades more. You know, I mean, you know, they may, just par back, maybe not buy mortgage bonds. They may just buy, say, some other bonds. Corporate or something like that. Maybe they'll give up on the mortgage market. I can't believe they're in the mortgage market now. I mean, housing prices are going up. Interest rates are low. What's the rub there? All right. So now, that's about it when it comes to what anybody was asking about. Okay, so where was I leaving off? I was in. I just got done the South African rand. So let's take a look at the Russian ruble, or the Russian Federation ruble. Right there. And if anybody wants to see anything, just jump in and I'll stop what I'm doing and go. We'll check it out. I have no problem. You can see here a second day on the downside. We're playing with the weekly. We talked about this the last couple of days. This thing has been rolling over since all this action here. We said you get into a daily sell. And I think this is going on the third day, right? Yeah, so this is the third day now on a sell. Right there. That was the first sell. Didn't do as much benefit. But in the next day, it kind of perked up, and now it's made new lows. See? So that's the way it rolls around here. And especially with this thing diving like the way that comet went through towards the corona of the sun yesterday. It didn't even make it to the corona. It just melted away. It just melted away. This thing looks like it's melting away the same way. Now, what do we got going on here? From there we go to Japanese yen. You see yen is doing that today. What's curious is we're flirting with the weekly buy. Look at that. Plot 1 is 0.01. Plot 4 is also 0.01. They're really tight there. And you can see the daily is trying to push into the sell there. It's been in a daily buy since right here. And but it was in a weekly sell, so you couldn't really take the long. You just had to stop being short. Comprende? Cool, huh? Then the last currency we look at out of this group is the Mexican peso. Do 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 do. La 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 la. And you can see here we're doing the same thing. This thing has been diving down. We went into the sell-off of this one. Then the next day it gave it to us profit-wise, but it was a short-term. It's a short-term one, lived solely because our weekly is just under the line, but it's not confirmed fully. So we're always being careful about that. So it means it's a binary trade or an option trade. Then you can see today it's giving you all the do-re-mi. You make your money. Money, money, money. That's right. Yes, indeed. All right. Now, there are the 4 pairs trades we kind of end with. Anybody want to see any particular thing, like New Zealand against the dollar or the CAD or, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever currency. We can go out and check it out if you want to see it. Now, let's jump over to, where do we go from here? We take a look at the stock indices, since we've done all the metals and we've done all the energies. Unless someone wants to see like nat gas, we can find nat gas for them, or If you want to see platinum, we can find that for them. So now we'll jump over to, where do we go from here? We'll go to the dailies of these things. So right there you can see the S&P 500 is a second day in a daily buy. We're in a weekly buy since back there in June. So it's not really giving up much. I think we talked about that. NASDAQ, same situation, except for it's been in a daily sell for a bunch of days, like 3 days. This is going on a fourth. But now you can see just flirting with the plus side. See that? Plot 1 is 0.67. So it's just climbing into the long side of things. We'll see. You can see here we're running a super gas line 3.5, so we're using both the 3 and the 5. So you can see here the green line is not breaking down, but the 5 has. It's a minus right now, the 5. That's the plot 6. That's the minus. And that's the NASDAQ 100. Or in Dukascopy they have it as the Tech 100, and throughout Europe it's known as the Tech 100. I'll just show it to you on the J4X, since, ooh, no, leave it up there like that. Since it's on there, right there. See, it says USA Tech Index, and that is the product right there. Alright, and so we have it on our work right there. You can see it's trying to turn up. So is our work trying to turn up. See that? The green line's trying to move up. And the white histogram is trying to turn up. You can see it right there. We are like right on the edge. Minus 42, now it's minus 25, minus 33. Yeah, it's tracking minus 25 again, minus 8. It's trying to climb. They're trying to get it to go. Minus 17. It's tight. Hey, there's someone I haven't seen in a while. Hey, 19, how you doing? You know, we're doing all right. You know, can't complain. It's, you know, it's the summer, so it's supposed to be slow and sloppy and all that stuff. You know, we try not to get tangled up in anything particular. You know, so you know, it's that time of the year. Every year it's like this, and I was emphasizing the last couple weeks. You know, major tops and bottoms have been created. You know, the major top of 1987 for the crash was August. You know, the high of the indices was in August. And the major low in 1982, the bull market of 82, was August. And we've seen it happen a few other times too. I think 2000 something or another, you know, 2008 or something like that. 2009? No, I think it was 2009. The low was right in there or something like that, you know. You know, it happens this time of the year. We get that action. So I'm doing pretty good. I hope you're doing fine. I hope you're enjoying, if you're in the northern hemisphere, enjoying the summer months. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you've got a scarf on like Polina of old and dealing with the weather because it's cold down there. I've been hearing Brazil's getting beat up with all kinds of frost and so forth, and it's been driving a combination. I saw a headline. There was a headline. Let me see if I can find it. There was an interesting headline on the grains. Let me see if I can find it. I just want to read the headline out loud to everybody. And it said, shippers frantic after China busiest... No, that's not it. Total global ETF assets blow past the 9 trillion mark. Nope, that wasn't it. Let's see. It was something about inflation and grains. Let's see. Today's Friday the 13th. I'm going to find it. It's here somewhere. Alright. Nope, not there. Can't find it now. But there was an interesting headline about the grain market and how it was taking off. You know, we've been watching it go up, and they had a specific rationale why. I'm going to keep on looking real quick here because I thought it was pretty cool. see, plunging. There it is. Plunging crop supplies send prices soaring. Reignite food inflation fears. WASDE reports. Interesting. So there must be a good story on that. And that is definitely something to be talked about. All right, what else we got going on, traders? I guess we got to figure out a title for today. What could we talk about? We could say, you know, Fibonacci and Fibonacci and WD Gann. We could do that. We could talk about. We talked about that a little bit with Jordan. What else could we say about today? How about oil? We use oil as a headline. We talked about oil. I guess what currency is doing something? Swiss maybe? Let's see, no. Yen, no. How about the euro? Euro seems to be trying to perk its head up a little bit. I because of the weekly so far down, I'm not taking it too serious. You know what I mean? But I like to have a headline that would emphasize what we were talking about here today. So, anyway, traders, everybody have a safe and a smart weekend, and we will catch you all on TGIM, and that is, thank goodness, it's Monday. Yeah. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Do, do, do. Happy trails to you. All our Dukascopy trading friends. Aloha, traders. Aloha.